Welcome to the ITSP Magazine Podcast Network, a modern, innovative multimedia platform, broadcasting ideas and connecting minds. Every company has a story to tell, from the small startup to the large enterprise, and everything in between. This is one of them. We hope you enjoy this brand story conversation.
All right, here we are. We're coming to you from Black Hat USA 2024, Hackers Summer Camp in Las Vegas, where lots of cool technologies come to life, and hopefully organizations learn how to protect their business from all the things that are coming at them from all different angles. And today I'm thrilled to have TK Keanini with me from DNSFilter. TK, how are you?
Very good, thanks.
It's good to have you on the show. And I think some good energy. I was down at the booth earlier today and some good traffic there, hopefully some good conversations.
Yeah, it was really crowded. A lot of people interested in solutions.
And you're at the front line of a lot of what's going on.
Definitely.
In terms of network traffic anyway, internet traffic. So tell me a little bit to kind of set the stage, what DNSFilter does.
So DNSFilter is a cybersecurity company that leverages the domain name system, DNS, which is fundamental to the internet, to filter. Basically, we let through the good, we filter out the bad. And we've designed a product that basically is usable by basically anyone. You don't really need to be an expert. We operate globally. This is something also important to us because attackers operate globally. Yesterday I pulled some stats. We saw about 130 billion DNS requests.
Wow, with a B.
Yeah, B. And we blocked about 3.6 billion. It hovers between 3 billion, 4 billion that we block. Now, what you have to think about, when we block, that means we save somebody from getting hacked, right? And that really feels good. I mean, it might have been a personal friend, grandmother, auntie, uncle. These are not security experts,
right?
But they clicked on something bad, and we helped them out, and that feels good.
It's a good mission to have, to protect the world's transactions and their experience online. So, how does what you do connect to business here? Because we're obviously at a business event.
Yeah.
Do you work with customers who have businesses, or do you work with customers that have customers that they're also trying to protect? What's the scope of what you offer?
It's really all over the map. It's so easy to set up that we actually might be using it on the Wi-Fi here. And we don't know it until you get a block page that said we just saved you from.
It's very likely here that a block page would come up.
Especially here. But coffee shops, hospitality, hotels, airports. Everybody runs our thing. I mean, this is actually why we see 130 billion requests per day, and this is globally, right? The technology sits so fundamental in the internet stack that it actually, here, let me walk through the life cycle.
Yeah,
so you click on a web page, a link, maybe it's in an emailer. The first thing that happens is the domain name system has to translate that name into an address. And we're essentially a filter for that. So if you go to an address that we know is bad, we'll block you. If not, we'll stay out of the way.
Right. And so organizations have to choose to use you. Where do you sit in the spectrum of the internet, I guess is the question.
So it's usually where you connect to the service provider. It actually might be on your laptop in the case of the mobile user. In the case of a coffee shop, it might be that Wi-Fi router that's sitting there. In the case of maybe a retail organization, it might be their public Wi-Fi.
Okay.
And all of those things, when that whole community that sits on that network is having to connect to something external or really internal, DNS is involved because it has to be translated to a number for the computer to know where to go, like a name translation to an address. And when you go to that address, we've already done the categorization to know whether that's in the case of threat, it might be a phishing site, it might be something not related to threat. So let me point this out. There are things that are globally bad, like vulnerable websites that want to hack you. There are things that are globally bad just for the human race, like CSAM stands for Child Sexual Abuse Material. This is just bad. It's a bad category, and frankly, I wish we didn't see any of it. But we've seen that whole websites that do that grow maybe by 4x in the past year. Now, okay, this is a category. We should block it, right? Because this is related to sex trafficking and bad things.
So who's using DNSFilter for that then? Is it law enforcement? Is it
first and foremost, it is your common everyday user.
Okay.
And again, like if you're on a public Wi-Fi, you think you're anonymous, you're going to want to use that type of site to do your business, whatever it is. You might use a public Wi-Fi to even hack another site. Because we sit so fundamental in that stack, we can offer public Wi-Fi a level of security that's frankly affordable, it's fast, and it's effective. I mean, that's really where we sit. So, like when I make the claim that we're trying to make a safer internet for everyone, there is a lot of people involved in that. There might be a managed service provider that company uses. They might buy us direct. They just go to our website, click on the thing, configure 2 parameters, they're off and running. Like your home network.
Right.
It would take you about 6 clicks to set it up and you'd be all set.
Okay. And do you actually sell to consumers as well?
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. I didn't realize the scope of, I mean, you're saying it, but I just never clicked the scope of what you do. Is there. That's phenomenal. So let's take this environment, for example. We don't know if you're running here or not, but certainly there's a lot of activity on this network. It's probably not with ill intent, let's say, right? Either for research purposes or whatever. What kind of scenarios might we encounter here that you might be protecting?
Let's see. Probably the most classic would be, when I say we kind of play our part in the larger whole, because DNS is part of your protection, there might be something also doing network detection and response. There might be something on the endpoint doing protection. But let's take a scenario. Let's say that a person here were to hack the Wi-Fi and get in the middle of your traffic. And so
man in the middle for, does that cover email as well, or just web traffic?
Yeah,
I guess
web or email.
If it's web email, then it would be. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and basically your next action is to click on something. They're going to try and steal your password or whatever it is, the credential. Now, at some point in time, they're probably going to have to reach out to what is called their command and control servers, their bots, where they get their global power. And those are going to be blocked by us. So somewhere within that kill chain, DNS will play a vital role and in the protection. And I make that point because, I think we're past the days where you can just do detection. Nobody needs a longer list of things to fix. Just fix it. So yeah, I think protection's really the game these days.
So for an organization, let's talk to the CISOs here. I presume most CISOs recognize what DNS does, of course, and the value that you bring. Do you find that programs today take into account what you have to offer, or are there still gaps? Yeah?
I think so. For an organization that already has their role open for a chief information security officer, you're talking about different. Yeah, you're talking about somebody who already has a program. They already have a budget.
Yeah.
They consider DNS protection one of many of their suite. So yeah, there's not really an awareness issue there.
Okay.
It's just, does the solution fit their purpose? Not only does it fit monetarily, does it fit operationally? Does it have the right adjacency to the other products in their suite? There's a lot to consider as a CISO.
Yeah. And then so if we move to smaller, perhaps less mature organizations where they don't have security leader, let alone maybe not even a security team. They might rely on an IT provider that may or may not provide security services. What's kind of the awareness at that level?
There, I think, the really barrier to entry is the ability to actually be effective without 10 years of experience. I want to be as effective as any music streaming service or YouTube. Anybody can use it at maybe any age. And really that just comes down to design. You have to design as a product that is going to not require that level of expertise.
So talk to me about the onboarding. Let's go to the user, individual user, and also somebody who might be running a network. How do you get down there?
So maybe two scenarios.
Okay.
Let's take a site-centric scenario. So you're setting up a home network, and you fire up your Wi-Fi, and at some point in time, your Wi-Fi is going to ask for an IP address for the DNS server. You just point it to us. You're done.
And typically the ISP provides that, and you're just swapping it to yours.
That's exactly right. Yep.
And then do they have to provide you with the ISP DNS to?
Nope.
Nope.
We do all the global resolution.
Okay.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world either. So that's basically one scenario. Let's call that site-centric.
Okay.
The other one is maybe endpoint-centric. Let's say that you have you have a laptop, you have an iPad, you have an iPhone. You just need to protect those things. And let's say you move around a lot. Again, you go to the thing that says DNS, you change the address. Again, you have to come to the website and click on buy a package.
Okay.
But yeah, you point it to address and you're off and running. So the setup time is next to nothing. And frankly, it's just really informative. Half the time, what we're really good at, frankly, is it's what leading the threat category. No matter whether you're doing phishing or you're trying to, do ransomware, DNS is involved because there's some form of deception. Whether they're playing on your emotion or the acuteness of the situation. Maybe, it's the election. Maybe it's Christmas. You see something that you have to take advantage of right now, and it's high emotion. Like, oh my God, I need that. You're going to click on the link. I don't care. We're humans, and that's a category of deception that I think is only going to get more severe, particularly with generative AI.
Yeah.
So my thing is the only way you can combat that is to enhance your human abilities with some machine scale solution, and that's really where DNSFilter sits.
And it has to be at a global level, as you described. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So I love those two scenarios, and talk about simple, and talk about fundamental. I think for years I've struggled with why can't we solve the phishing ransomware problem if we can just get in the way of the command and control where they're doing all this stuff from.
Right.
We actually have a chance.
Right, and I'm very pragmatic here. It shouldn't, if you can set up your phone or your home network to be on the internet, then you possess the skills already to use us.
Yeah.
Like if I go beyond that, then I'm outside of scope, right? So that's really the bar for us.
I love it. And for somebody who's interested, maybe a security team in an organization or an MSSP who's managing an organization's security program, what types of things do you do to ensure that you have the insights for what is real, what's not, in terms of a threat?
Yeah, I think that's also very pragmatic. For the CISO, they're going to want to know stats. Mm-hmm. They're going to want to make it easy to implement policy. Like for schools, it's really important for them to just click a button and say, the policy is you shouldn't be able to go to any website that is self-harm. Okay, that's their policy. Now, do they want to do the work of categorizing the world's websites? No, right?
Right.
But when they buy us, they get that. It's one click of the button. So again, for the policymakers.
So you do the categories and
Yeah.
the policies. Okay.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, CSAM is just a pure category. Pornography, might be car sales, whatever their policy is. There's just a ton of policies in there, one click away. So, and we manage that. So as things get added, removed, that's all just within that set. And then again, let's take another scenario. Let's say it's an incident responder. Let's say that something has happened and you want to see what DNS domains this particular laptop has seen in the last 30 days. That's another real scenario that's of value, right? You're looking through a general ledger now, and you're going to find out, oh wow, it actually happened on the 4th of this month, not the 5th.
So it's a history tracking for, and then I presume it's an IP address or a MAC address that you're watching, or what is it?
It's the DNS call. Like they went to www.somewhere.com.
How do you map it to the caller?
The client that the mobile user installs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because one of the things I was curious about is because it's so simple and it essentially is set it and forget it for the most part.
Yeah.
At some point, you might want to know that you're doing what you're being asked to do.
Yeah, it's being effective, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How many sites did we block?
Right.
And who went to those sites?
Yeah.
All of those things are very table stakes for the offering.
And then another point I want to make, and you can reinforce it, is it's automatic. So we're not creating an alert here that somebody has to chase down to see if it's real or not, and then make some response decision. So the MTTD and MTTR is effectively this one and the same and immediate.
It's at machine scale.
Yeah.
It'll probably happen in less than 10 milliseconds.
Yeah. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Well, TK, it's been great chatting with you. I don't know if there's something we didn't touch on that you want to share with folks.
No, we covered a lot of ground. DNSFilter.com. You can buy the basic package, the pro package, and the enterprise package.
Perfect.
Most of the small businesses go with basic or pro.
And you have a good channel program. A lot of partners.
Yeah, a lot of ours. Again, it's particularly if they're going to mid to larger customers, they're selling us within a suite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I'll leave it with that and a call to have everybody connect with TK and meet the DNSFilter team and get that first line of defense in place.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you, and thanks everybody for listening. Hope you enjoy this brand story with TK and DNSFilter, and stay tuned for more.